Now we're in English. Okay. So welcome to this special meeting of the ZKE. You can see this the agenda on the left side. I know it's very small, yeah, so I will, but it will be explained to you in a minute. And actually, I am the host of ZKE, but we do have somebody who is going to welcome us today because this is a special gate meeting. So I'm very happy that Katharina also could join, and I give the floor to you, Katharina. Wait, I'm going to stop sharing.
Yeah. Okay, it's now my time. Yeah.
I think so.
Excellent. Yeah, so dear colleagues, dear friends, dear Bernhard, Daniel, I can see you as well. I cannot see Tim. On behalf of the Secretariat of the Gate and of Miller International Knowledge, also called MIC, I am delighted once more to welcome you to this first Gate research meeting. And as some of you already know, MIC is an international law firm. You can also see Vanessa Gutzek here with us, my colleague. And we have a strong focus on research-related topics. And in the spirit of supporting open science in general, we are very proud to offer pro bono secretariat and legal services to the GATE initiative. And I am genuinely happy that you have accepted today our invitation and you joined us to begin this exciting journey together. And the GATE, short for Open Science Learning Gate, is a non-for-profit initiative designed to build capacity in open science. It brings together researchers, trainers, policymakers, and infrastructure providers to collectively advance knowledge and practice in the evolving field. And the GATE stands on the main three pillars: community engagement, the GATE service, and the GATE report. And today marks an important step shaping the GATE report into a reliable, insightful, and useful resource, one that reflects real needs, integrates real data, and drives real impact. And together we will explore how to best analyze the data gathered through the GATE service and how we can ensure that the resulting report becomes a valuable tool for trainers, but also for researchers, policymakers, funders, and those managing data infrastructures. And I would especially like to thank Julia, Marie, and Anika, but also, of course, Vanessa, for their coordination and vision in organizing this meeting today. And of course, I want to thank each of you who is here present, but especially Bernhard, Daniel, and Tim for bringing your expertise to this collaborative effort. Your contributions will help ensure that the GATE is not only a technically sound and informative project, but one that is meaningful and transformative. And let's take this opportunity to think big, work together, and lay the foundation for a robust research framework. And I look very much forward to your presentations and to the rich exchange of ideas. Welcome, and let's get started. And back to you, I think, Julia, right?
Yeah, I think actually it's Anika's and Marie's time, but thank you very much, Katharina. So, do you see the screen?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Okay, yes. So also from my side and Anika's side, welcome to this meeting. Just to have a short look on the agenda, we have splitted the session today into three parts. First of all, we would like to present the GATE, very short because most of you know about the GATE already. And we will also, this is Anika's part, to give you a point of view regarding the data that we collect. This is the main topic of today's session. The question how to analyze the data that is collected by the GATE. And later, Julia will talk about research challenges and gaps. And then we are very happy to listen to you, Daniel, Tim, and Mr. Thalheim, regarding your special fields, your special knowledge. Daniel, we know that beside of many other topics, you're an expert in creating knowledge graphs. And we are very happy to listen your ideas regarding the GATE research data. Tim, you will talk about the idea how the GATE report could become an ontology. And Mr. Thalheim, you're a specialist on modeling data and could provide a view on how the data could target the European research area. And then we are very happy to have enough time for discussion. So I try to be very fast, but it's important to give you once again information about the GATE. What is it, how it works, where are the benefits? So basically, the GATE is an infrastructure supporting the entire open science community. It provides knowledge to trainers on open science, and it collects also important data on open science practice and education. And this is the reason for this event today. Yeah, the GATE has various features, but today we want to focus on its core feature, which is the GATE service, as we call it. The GATE service basically is a tool, a survey collecting and disseminating data, and this vice versa topic is very important. This is the key strategy in the GATE. So how does that work? We reach out to trainers, so those who develop and share materials on open science to give us their knowledge. Yeah, and the GATE itself targets 12 different target groups. As you see in this circle, these are researchers, students, data curators, data stewards, librarians, educators, then those who provide the technical infrastructures and data scientists. And then we have a group of citizens, policymakers, or institutions, organizations that support with policies or even the infrastructures. And the GATE service, as I said, is a survey. As you see here, we are targeting those 12 different target groups. This is a topic of how do we structure it. For research, we structure them in 4 main groups. And the basic question that the GATE targets is which open science guiding thoughts did trainers or developers of training materials implement into their materials? What are the basic open science guiding thoughts that are currently on the research landscape, on the open science landscape, and have been implemented into the training materials? And through entering the GATE, the trainers or developers of materials provide the knowledge on their training materials. So the GATE is collecting data from the open science community. Yeah. And on the other hand, they will receive also a list with open science guiding thoughts that have been provided by others. And this is a kind of guidance for the trainers. Yeah, what is the current status quo of open science practice and of open science education? And the collected data is the main focus of this session today. Yeah, in the background, we hope to get your support or your ideas in order to find a strategy how to assess, how to analyze the collected data. And after we have kind of analyzed the data, we will be able to classify it or to give the collected data a structure. And we inform also the participating trainers or providers of trainings with yearly GATE reports, yeah, or even notifications. And the GATE report is one of the other features, as Katharina said, because it summarizes the current status quo of the current period. For example, the
GATE report for 2025 will summarize the status quo, the state of the art of open science education and practice for 2025. And with these reports and notifications, we give the participating trainers and the entire open science community a guidance in order to know how to update, how to optimize my training materials in order to deliver a high quality of open science education. And very important is to say that this is an ongoing feedback loop. The GATE is an infrastructure that will be established for the next years, and the continuous monitoring and screening of the open science research landscape and educational landscape will always be here, and we always will feed data into the GATE reports and communicate it to the participating trainers or providers of trainings. So this ongoing knowledge exchange is one of the main information that we would like to provide. But today it's important to have a closer look on the survey, on the GATE service itself. Just a few words how it has been developed. It started in May 2023 within the Network for Education and Research Quality. And then there we gathered the first ideas of what we would like to establish. And until May 2024, we were able to launch the first GATE service, the first version, which is, Anika will talk about it. The basic version. And very soon we saw we have to refine it. And this refinement happened also with Anika's support this year. So with January, we were able to launch the second version of the GATE. Anika, I think this is now the time to hand over.
I can jump in, yeah. So Marie was looking back, the step back. So where did the GATE service actually come from? And we think it's also very important that we understand how the GATE service was constructed on this journey. And as Marie said, the core of the service always has been the question around the guiding thoughts. Which guiding thoughts are covered in the educational material? But how did we get that into the service, this idea? And you can click, Marie. Once back. And the initial data collection, I think that goes 1 year, 1.5 years back. And it started with a literature review on guiding thoughts in open science and with a focus group approach with open questions to gather these guiding thoughts. And the result of these first initiative step was a list of guiding thoughts, as Marie already mentioned. And that list went into the stage 2, into the first version of the GATE service. And that was our prompt, basically. So everyone participating in the service was prompted with this list and could decide, am I addressing these guiding thoughts in my material or not? So it was really a yes or no question. It was a selected response question. And then we refined it further and went to the third stage of the GATE service, and that's version 2, and that's the one we will focus on today. And we still had this list there. So participants were still prompted with the list of guiding thoughts being found relevant and could decide, yes, in my material addressed, or no, not covered. If they covered the guiding thought, they could now add an explanation. What does this guiding thought, so for example, transparency, what does it mean for me? What's my understanding of this thought? And they could also rate the thought on a scale from 1 to 5, 1 being the lowest, low relevance, and 5 being the highest, high relevance. And this is, so now we're in the GATE version 2, and that's from our perspective for today, the most relevant prompts. So first, I pick my target group as a participant. And then I go through 3 areas which are more or less structured in a very similar way. In the first group, I get the guiding thoughts in the general field of open science. I'm presented with the list. I can select yes or no. I go to the open questions. If I've selected yes, it's covered in my material. I explain my understanding. That's an open question. So we have open data, verbal data, and then I can select what's the relevance for me. In the second phase, I'm presented again with a list of guiding thoughts, but now that's in the realm of open science and artificial intelligence. So I can first say, am I addressing at all artificial intelligence topics in my material? If I select no, I'm directly sent, so that's a filter question. I'm directly sent to a further area of the questionnaire. If I say yes, I'm again prompted, I'm again presented with a list of guiding thoughts in the field of open science and artificial intelligence. I can select, is this guiding thought presented, addressed in my material or not? I can then, if I say yes, go further and explain my understanding of the thought, and then rate it again. And then we have a third stage, still in the realm of the guiding thoughts. And then people and participants have the chance to add new topics and to add new guiding thoughts. So if they say, well, you've now presented me with 2 lists, but I have more guiding thoughts, I have more principles in my mind that are important to me, and I would like to add them, I can add them here, I can name the guiding thought, and again, I can explain my understanding, and I can rate its relevance. So these are basically the main 3 steps where we collect and where we dive deeper into the guiding thoughts. And it's important to know that all of these questions are not mandatory. So people can answer these questions, but they're not forced to answer the questions, which is important for the questionnaire. Before we take now a brief glimpse into the data, I think it's important that we remind ourselves of the context in which we collect this data. So we have a field-specific context. Obviously, we are in the open science education field or area, but we also have a temporal context. And it's been mentioned by Marie and by Katharina already. We have the GATE report, and the GATE report is an annual report. So we always are in one calendar year when it comes to the data collection. So for now, our temporal context would be the year 2025. And our last context, and that's already been mentioned as well, are the target groups. So within the data, specific target groups are addressed. But also when the GATE report is received, we also have specific target groups reading the GATE report. But for now, let's stay with the data. And we have these 4 groups, and the data I will now give you a very brief overview for is all focused on the group of researchers and students. And before I go into this picture that Marie has already addressed, it's a very, very small sample that we will be showing today, just to build up an understanding what is there. So we took 5 samples. All the samples, as I said, are from the target group researchers and students. And for now, for this very short presentation here, we are taking a very descriptive angle. So it's not analytic at all, because I think that's something that we will be working on together today. So it's really just showing what's there. Let's start with one guiding thought, and that's transparency. And on the left-hand side, you have the y-axis, and that's the rating of the relevance. So at the very bottom, we have statements or guiding thoughts that people explained but did not rate. And then we have from 1 to 5, as I explained before, the ratings in relevance. So for transparency, what's interesting first is that all 5 said they covered transparency as a guiding thought in their material. And you can see 3 rated very high. They rated on the 5. 1 rates it very low on the 1, and 1 doesn't rate it at all. He or she explains it, but as I said, it's not mandatory, so there's no rating. On a more semantical note, what's interesting, we have 2 quite similar wordings when we look at ID 53 at the very top and at ID 46 at the very bottom. They both work with open and sharing, and they refer to data and methods. And then we have one more generic answer, which is ID 33. This person says, yeah, it's important to explain and to refer to specific steps. We have one very high rating on the 5 without any explanation. And then we have one interesting response, that's ID 56. You can see it on the 1. And it's not an explanation we're getting here. It's just a statement, basically. This person said, it's not a concern in my context. So it's addressed, but it's not of concern. So that's why the relevance is low. So that's what we have here for transparency. And let's move on to a next guiding thought that's still in the general realm of open science. And we selected data and IP protection, a very important topic. And what's important here is that from the 5 samples we selected, 4 addressed this guiding thought in their material. And one person, ID 33, said it's not covered in my material. And this is very important for us because when we prompt participants with this long list of guiding thoughts, some might feel that they now have to share, we're addressing many, many guiding thoughts. But that's not what we want. We are really interested in which of these guiding thoughts are you addressing and which of them are important for you. So for us, it's a really valuable information when people share that they're not addressing this guiding thought, because when we look at the quantitative part, we would also like to see which are the most addressed guiding thoughts and topics in the material. So one person didn't address this guiding thought. And when we look at the rating, it's also very interesting because we almost have the full diversity here. Almost all the ratings are covered. So from 2 to 5, it's all there. And when we look at the context, at the content, sorry, what is important here is it's ID 53. Talks about safeguarding privacy, security, and rights. And it's quite similar when it comes to ID 46, which says, yeah, data protection, it's important and we need to cover that, but we still need to be open. We still need to allow for this broad access and foster for this. So there's again, how do we balance data protection and IP? We again have one without explanation. And then on rating 2, we have ID 53. And this person is more targeting the recognition of individual efforts in data collection. So that again goes in a very different direction. We would like to show this to see how diverse the answers are and what do we do with them when we actually would like to analyze these answers and bring them together and try to harmonize them even. And the last example we brought along, now we move to the realm of open science and artificial intelligence. You remember that was the second step that participants will go through. And what's really important here is, and what we see in our data already, is that a lot of people are not yet addressing open science topic, artificial intelligence topics in their material. So that's what you see on the right-hand side. Many said we don't address these topics yet. We do not address these guiding thoughts. And then we have one person saying, yeah, I do address this in my trainings. I do address this in my material. And he gives a rating of 5 and he gives an explanation. And he goes into a direction that you would not maybe directly expect to be seen here. And he talks about the general verb of understanding when it comes to artificial intelligence and cautions the use of this verb. And well, to sum this up, I think what's important for us and what I hope that you could gather from this really very brief glimpse into the data is our data set is very rich and diverse and heterogeneous. So we are asking ourselves now, and I think in this session here today as well, how do we approach the data? How do we analyze it? And especially how do we structure it in order to create an outcome, to create a report that is easily accessible, easy to read, still able to capture changes over time, and still being able to address various target groups, both within the data and both within our heterogeneous audience when it comes to readers. And I think with this, we can pass it on to, I think it's Julia.
Yes. So first, thank you very much for explaining how it works. I think it really helps us to see that again and again. It is a quite complex thing. So from my job is very easy today because I am going to show you the research question we have. Just 1 second. Yeah, I'm just so first from my side, I'm really happy that you're all here. It's Friday. Friday afternoons are always my pleasure to be, but today is a special day, so I'm really happy that you're all here. So the GATE research meeting, which is the first one today, is like one pillar of the GATE project or initiative, which we are running for 2 years now, but which really kicked off 2025. So what does that mean? Actually, it means that we are meeting for the first time together. So I met with almost all of you who are talking today in one-to-one or one-to-two meetings. But today is the first time we are meeting together, and we just what I wanted to achieve with this meeting is that we exchange ideas on how we might go on with this research question. So today is actually about understanding what the research question more or less is, where we want, what we want to achieve. And the next few weeks or months will be on, okay, what would be the next steps? How could we achieve what we develop, or how could we analyze what we want in the GATE? And then you all know research, so it's more or less random, but I put October 2025 as we should start there with the, if we do have an idea and we can find a way how to analyze the data, we should start in October 2025 with the process. I want to thank actually this research team here, which is called Zentrum für Konstruktive Erziehungswissenschaft, because they're hosting us. So I'm officially your host today. And so we are offering to host these research meetings also in the upcoming months. Anika and Marie just explained how the GATE service and the data is and how the collection is going on. What I want to emphasize a bit is overall research questions. It's not a specific one, it's not a hypothesis, because we're not there yet, but what do we want to achieve actually with the GATE initiative? And it is, we want to help and support the research community in Europe or global, however you want to call it, to understand more about open science practices, because the landscape is changing so quickly. And I do know a lot of open science trainers who actually ask, okay, how can I update my material? How can I help to build capacity? And I do think the GATE initiative could be one initiative to do that. And how do we want to do it? We want to do it with the GATE report. So the GATE report is more or less the research output. And with the GATE report, we want to inform the research community. However, we do have several stakeholders when we think about the GATE report. So it's not only for the open science trainers who helped us with giving us their thoughts. This is a really important stakeholder group, but also we have others. And we had a meeting in Brussels 3 weeks ago, and we invited different people from different communities, and we asked them, okay, do you think it makes sense to collaborate with the GATE? And what would be your your goal or your need the gate could help you with. And actually, we got quite positive responses from several groups, yeah. And these groups are, so the general research communities, yeah, which are national, institutional, or even on a European level, yeah. So I just make an example, like this group here in the room. So we are here in the room, I think around 10 people. We would be also happy to read the GATE report, because then we would learn more about how to do open science. So this is a small research community, but also the NFDI, or in German, NFDE, yeah, so the National Data Infrastructure from Germany, they also would be very interested in getting this report. So this is a national one. So you can see it's a very different levels of research communities here. Also, the policymakers, which were in Brussels, are very interested in the GATE report. Why? Because they are steering how to organize research in the future. Yeah, and open science is a big topic. It's more or less also a hot topic, yeah, in combination with security. So they're like, okay, let's just give us information so that we know how to go on in the future. The third group was, or are the funders, like research funders, national funders, but also funders for specific topics. They asked, they were really interested because they said, oh, that might help us to set some standards, what the researchers we are funding, yeah, should do in their research. So this was an interesting appearance, because we didn't thought about that. Then we have the fourth group, which is the open science trainers. I think this is the one Marie already explained, and is quite obvious. And then we also do have the data infrastructures. The data, like they're giving the infrastructure, but the infrastructure without people does not work. Yeah, so they realize that, and they know that engagement is a key, and they want to use they want to use or offer their repositories and their catalogs for training. This is the one side to the GATE, but they also want to use the report to spear or to support some engagement. So these are the 5 groups which are going to read the report at the end. So the research question, and actually I'm ending here, is, okay, how can we use the data we do have? So today only these 5 examples, but like with the collection from the GATE, like a lot of data. How can we use this data, yeah, to inform these 5 groups in the report? And we really don't, like when I say we, it's the GATE team, we don't have an answer. So what I did is that I said, okay, I can coordinate this research project. So that's what I am offering here. And just get all these experts together to see how we can organize it. Yes, so this is more or less my part. And I'm now really happy that we do have the 3 experts with us, yeah, who can give us a short introduction in how they think, yeah, about how we can